Hello, Ruby. She's usually sewing over here. Hi, Ruby.
Hi.
We're here.
Hello there. How are you?
Joan Cushman is the resident care attendant at Brookside Senior Living in Montevideo. Carrie Huntley, Cushman's granddaughter, is the assisted living director at the facility.
It's been a long 2 years with dealing with COVID, on the resident aspect as well as a staffing standpoint. So we had to be creative on how we handled situations. Joni's position started early on in COVID when we had to restrict visitors and we had to restrict family members coming into the building.
Brookside was recommending that residents didn't leave the building, no one out but also no one in, like most other assisted living facilities. Cushman's job was to connect the resources that people would bring to their family members living at Brookside.
She was delivering items that family members would drop off in our front entrance. She'd bring them up to their apartments, help them put things away, help sort through mail. She was just doing kind of some of the things that without family members in the building that the residents were having a tough time keeping up on. So she was just there kind of a fill-in family member to start out.
Huntley said that Brookside's parent company, Cassia, based in Edina, Minnesota, encouraged hiring a resident care attendant. Cushman formerly lived in Brookside with her husband, but moved out to live independently when her husband died in 2019.
And I got to thinking, I bet there's a couple hundred more people in town that are lonesome, and I think we should do something about it.
So Cushman walks the 3 floors of Brookside, trying to visit as many of the 47 independent or assisted living apartments that she can.
And there's her place. I usually deliver a lot of stuff, and I go that end and that one.
She brings mail.
Office mail. Oh, you betcha.
That's another bill.
Each day, Cushman comes equipped with her bright yellow notebook,
so you can see some writing instead of blank pages.
filled with stories to share, poems to recite, things to personalize each visit.
How did your dinner go before your birthday?
And she takes the time to be present, providing a kind ear.
Birthday with your friend.
Oh, yeah, just Deb and I went out.
Oh.
Because she
And they'll tell me what they're doing. And they'll show me what they're doing.
See, I take 2 different kinds.
They like to talk about their crafts and what their kids have been doing.
Well, my daughter is a CPA, so...
Or anything that happens to pop into their
It's
minds.
funny, people like lefse, but they don't care for lutefisk.
Right, that's me. I don't like lutefisk.
Actually, Cushman is known through the halls for her homemade lefse. Of course, she's known for more than that at Brookside.
My role is making people happier and letting them know that we care about them. The nursing staff can't sit and visit with them, and they feel all alone. But they love to share their stories because they don't have anybody to visit with. And then we have a lot of things in common because I'm more their age than a younger person.
Huntley said that the average age of their residents is about 87.
And so just having that connection, most of our caregivers are probably 20, 30, 40 years old, but Joni being 80 and able to connect on things that, that our generation might not know about, it's just kind of a unique situation, being able to connect on a generational level.
Minnesota's workforce is aging, and the key to successful workplaces might be intergenerational. Minnesota's Department of Employment and Economic Development found that in 1995, about 1 in 10 workers in the state were 55 and older. In 2020, 1 in 4 workers were 55 and older. And last year, the oldest millennials started turning 40, which means they're now covered under the Age Discrimination and Employment Act, said Susan Weinstock, Vice President of Financial Resilience Programming at AARP.
So right now there are 5 generations in the workforce. This has never happened before. So there's the traditionalists. Those are people born 1925 to 1945. There's the baby boomers who are 1946 to 1964. The Generation X, 65 to 1980, Millennials, 1981 to 2000, and then Generation Z, 2001 to 2020. Research has shown that those workplaces that have multi-generational teams and multi-generational workforce have a more productive workforce. It increases efficiency. It also lowers turnover. There's also the ability to do knowledge transfer, because when those folks walk out the door, sometimes that institutional knowledge, unless an employer makes sure that there is that multi-generational workforce, that institutional knowledge also walks out the door.
There are challenges to intergenerational workforces. In 2020, AARP surveyed 1,322 Americans aged 40 to 65 and found that 78% of respondents had seen or experienced age discrimination in the workplace. And stereotypes like younger adults aren't stable or older adults don't know technology or won't learn new skills don't elude these spaces. But Weinstock says that research suggests otherwise.
Our research shows that they do want to learn new skills, that they are interested in learning new things, and that they like mentorship and they like cross mentorship, where you compare a younger and an older worker together, and the knowledge transfer goes both ways, which is a fantastic way to build a really good dynamic workforce.
Intergenerational workforces allow people to see each other as people and not as stereotypes, which can build inter-community connections. Age is an asset. Because of Cushman's experience, she's able to read the nuances of the larger experience of aging and living at a facility like Brookside.
But when a new resident comes in, I usually try and visit them more often to make them comfortable. And if they've lost a loved one, I make that a more often visit.
Adjusting here is difficult for a lot of people. My husband had an awfully hard time adjusting to leaving the house. And it does help to have somebody come around and talk. And especially if a person's alone. Of course my husband was here for a while. But if you're alone and you don't know anybody here, people not always so willing to put themselves out to meet new people.
And then we have people coming in and visit us too, so if we don't have other visitors, well, we can always rely on you.
Right. Every time I come by, she says, "Come anytime."
Well, see, we knew each other a little bit before. Not too long, but before. Well, she made lefse for my husband. That's one thing he loved.
I told you about that famous lefse.
Like I said, I've loved the elderly. And everybody here seems like my family. It's so satisfying if you can get someone out of their depression or just smile. And, if you can make someone smile, that makes your day.
Born out of challenges related to COVID-19 safety protocols, mixed with a general healthcare staffing shortage, Joan Cushman's position is a creative way for Brookside to fill a healthcare and caregiving need. She's transferring generational knowledge while creating a space for meaningful connections that benefit Brookside residents, staff, and Joan herself.